How do you manufacture a cosmetic or skincare brand? Today's topic is all about manufacturing and launching a cosmetic brand into the global market. I'm here to share with you how you can literally take a product manufactured from your kitchen table to the cosmetic shelf. Well, is it really that easy? I'm going to give you 4 different routes of manufacturing. I'm also going to help demystify some of the acronyms we sometimes hear. Well, maybe you could be the next Glossier or Liz Earle or Jo Malone or Anita Roddick. A lot of these brands literally started from the kitchen table. So let me give you a snapshot into what's involved in manufacturing a skincare or cosmetic brand. But before we do that, let's look at what success means to you. Success to each one of us means something different. We often think when we look at others that they just did that overnight and it became a global phenomenon. This is far from the reality. In actual fact, success has a number of incremental failures that ultimately culminate in a success story that we know today. In the industry, we sometimes talk about the beauty unicorns, the brands that did well. I can mention somebody like Dicium, Glossier, or Drunk Elephant. These are all overnight successes, you may think, but actually they're not. Brandon Trooks of Dicium actually had 3 different brands before he launched Dicium. Drunk Elephant wasn't an overnight success. It took time to build its brand profile and its brand awareness. And Glossier was first a community before it became a skincare brand. So how do you take a product literally from the kitchen table to the cosmetic shelf? Well, if this is the route you want to go, manufacturing from the kitchen table, you can certainly do that. However, I would recommend, and I strongly advise, you seek out the right kind of training and education, because there is a lot of cosmetic compliance that is needed to be adhered to, such as the good manufacturing practice for one. If you're interested in formulating for yourself, you could go and learn from an online formulatory course like Formula Botanica, or the Society of Cosmetic Chemists has their own diploma where you can go and learn how to be a cosmetic chemist and formulate for yourself. If this is not the route you're interested in, you may want to choose contract manufacturing. Now, within contract manufacturing, there are a number of things you need to be aware of. The first and fundamental one is actually an acronym called MOQs, standing for Minimum Order Quantities. Minimum order quantities are really where everybody gets stuck because this requires a huge number of investment. Most large contract manufacturers won't start with below a 5,000 minimum order quantity. So what step could you choose to do if that's too high an investment? Well, you could choose to go white label, what we call private label. And this is a great choice if you're not going to formulate for yourself or you're not able to afford the high minimum order quantities of a contract manufacturer. So a private label product is a product that the manufacturer has made themselves, and they have probably been given great awards for this formula, and you are allowed to use that awarded formula with your own label and your own branding on it. But you don't actually own the formula. This is the most important piece about that. And this is a great way to get started. If you want to, you could proceed to contract manufacturing. And I do know that there are some contract manufacturers in the UK. Oriane Personal Care is one of them. You could seek them out. They are now doing, I believe, below 5,000 minimum order quantities. As there are a number of others. Due to the pandemic, we are seeing contract manufacturers change their minimum order quantities. Another thing to consider is something called the SKU, the stock keeping unit. Most brands tend to launch around about 10 minimum SKUs. I would recommend that you start with far less. Because of the minimum order quantities being so high, you may want to try with 1 SKU or 2 SKUs. So there already, I've given you 3 options. Of course, the 4th option is to work with a contract manufacturer in formulating and designing your own personal formula, bespoke to you, working with a cosmetic scientist where you would trademark and own that formula. And if you are going to go this route, I need to just caution you because it does take time. Actually, it takes time to launch a skincare or cosmetic brand, anywhere from 6 months to over a year, because there are a number of regulations, safety assessments, and compliance you need to adhere to before you launch a skincare brand onto the market. I hope this has been of use. My name is Kirsty of Skin Insight.